What's up, everybody? So we're back in the car today, and we're gonna be talking about long distance relationships and the essentials, what every long distance couple needs to be doing to make sure they're thriving in their relationship. Okay? If you like this type of content, make sure you like, subscribe, share, send to your grandma, and let's get into this video.
We've been in a long distance relationship for 4 years between Connecticut and North Carolina, and now it's Connecticut and DC. And that's why we could talk on this.
Yeah, we got credibility. You're credible. Number one, the classic. Every time you search long distance relationship up anywhere, the first thing they're gonna say is you need communication. That's your number one thing, is communication. Because that's all you're going to be doing on a long distance relationship, is basically communicating with each other every day. You know, FaceTime, phone calls, text messages, Snapchats, Zoom meetings, if that's what you want to do. So you need to be able to communicate. Now, one thing that we do that really helps, I think, with communication, ever since we first started dating, we started dating on the 20th of August. And every 20th of every month, we do a check-in. So that's an opportunity for us to overview the last month, essentially from the previous 20th to today's 20th, and just talk about, you know, the good things, the bad things, things that were happy, things that were maybe not so great. You know, if we had any leftover remaining beef that we didn't talk about that needed to be discussed.
Time to hash it out.
Yeah, ways that we could support each other better. Our schedules and plans for the upcoming month, if anything's changing or new or coming up soon that we need to talk about. So the 20th is always our day to kind of discuss those things, and that kind of helps kind of orient you for the next month. And if you do that every month, you'll be great. So communication is number one.
I think number two, just keeping it real. I think money.
Facts.
Money is an essential
Facts.
no matter what type of relationship you're in, because most of the time people are going out, you're getting food. It involves a little bit of money, but if you're long distance, there's eventually going to be some type of travel, whether the person is across the world, across the United States, or in a few states over from you. Whether you're driving, flying, taking the train, whatever you're doing to get there, it's going to cost some type of money, and you have to steer your money well. Like, if you don't have a budget, now's a good time. Yeah,
make a budget. And and I'm talking about the real long distance people. I'm talking about a few states, because I seen somebody post talk about their long distance relationship. They an hour and a half away from each other. That's not that far. You can drive there. I'm talking about a couple states.
Yeah, like,
you know,
several hours.
You know, get you a Prius and, you know, hybrid and make it that hour and a half. That's not gonna cost. That's like $5 worth of gas or energy. I'm talking like planes, flights, trains.
I don't know how else people get
longboard, walk.
Okay, yeah.
Ski.
We're losing the thread here.
It's okay. What were you saying?
That's all.
Money.
Yeah, money is essential. And I feel like a lot of times people don't want to talk about money, but I think even when you're in a relationship with someone, this goes back to the communication part. Like, how much money are you both okay with spending in this relationship? Because if you are several states away, countries apart, whatever, like, I think you should be in agreement so that there's no animosity or resentment down the line, because you dropped X amount of dollars and the other person dropped
less than X.
Less than X amount of dollars.
Yeah, and that also helps determine you guys' visitation schedule. Visitation sounds like prison. Determine your trip frequency, because like if you can't, you know, if you ballin' and y'all are, you know, a plane flight away from each other, you got the money, go see each other every week if you got it like that. But if you don't got it like that, you know, maybe once a month, every other month, every quarter even. I mean, you just got to work with what you got. Like, if it's not that far, maybe drive. You know, them tolls will hit you, but it's not as much as a plane. So there's a way to work it out, but you guys got to discuss and fix the budget, work the budget out so you know what you're doing. The number 3 is a timeline. Y'all got to set up a timeline, because you cannot be long distance forever. It's just going to be tragic for your pockets, for your brain. It's not going. You can't do that. So you got to figure out a timeline. And by timeline, I mean, when are y'all getting married? What's going on here? Y'all don't have to figure that out right when you first start dating. But 1 year, 2 years in, you gotta kind of start having those conversations are about, okay, hey, what are we doing? Are you moving to me? Am I moving to you? Are we meeting in the middle? Or are we going somewhere else? Like, you have to have a discussion about what y'all's life is going to progress. And hopefully your plans for life end up with you meeting somewhere in the same location. Because if you're planning on moving to Alaska and the other person's planning on moving to Texas, it's you got to figure something out. You gotta have a discussion about that. So timeline and timing and location is all important things. So that's my third piece.
Okay, for the fourth point, I think talking about your boundaries are really, really, really essential and key. And what I mean by boundaries, I think kind of everything when it comes to like physical boundaries within your relationship, but also the boundaries that you want to put in place to protect your relationship, when it comes to how you're going to interact with the opposite sex, what that communication looks like, hanging out looks like, just so that you don't violate that trust. Because like once the trust is lost, it's very hard to get back. Maybe for some people, I don't think they get it back. So I think talking about it sooner rather than later is really, really important, because you guys aren't going to be there. Oh, there's a bug. You guys aren't going to be there for the day-to-day interactions. You won't be able to meet all the friends right away. Who else would there be? Like coworkers and stuff like that. And so having the conversation about, okay, like what do your relationships look like and friendships look like? You could go from there. But if you kind of hold off on it and you wait until you're, I want to say, a year into the relationship or even longer, like it always surprises me. There are people that wait a really long time to have these conversations. And I think it just can make things messier than they really need to be. So protect your relationship and protect yourself. If there's certain boundaries you don't want to cross, establish them.
I think of like, we'll say point 4.5 to that point is also transparency too. Because one thing that you might not think about is, especially when it comes to like your relationships out of the like relationship that you have, like your friends, if you're long distance and you've been long distance from the jump, like y'all haven't spent time in person before, the opposite person in the relationship doesn't really have that much context about what your relationship with like your friends or your coworkers or anything else looks like. They only have like what you tell them or what they see online or whatever. So being kind of clear about what the relationship dynamic is between some of those people, especially if it's the opposite sex, like it will help clear things up, because you have to think about, they don't get to see that other person interact with you on a regular basis. All they get to hear is what you tell them. So it might help, to just kind of clarify some of those things, and figure out what both of y'all are the most comfortable with when it comes to that relationship. People.
For the last point, for number 5, I think having a supportive community is essential. Because if your parents, your friends, that's all there would be, family, do not support the relationship, and I'm not saying every single person in your life needs to support the relationship, but the people that matter the most to you, that you, when they make comments, you make adjustments in your life, you value their advice, I think really ask yourself or evaluate, okay, do those people think this is okay? This type of relationship dynamic, the person that you're dating, because if they don't, that could create some issues. When you're a few months into the relationship and then they're making comments that are against the relationship, you might start acting funny, and I don't think it's the best way. It's the best way to honor the other person if you're applying the advice from people that do not support the relationship dynamic.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I'm saying it's an important thing and it's essential, but if you're able to create that divide and say like, okay, I'm not going to listen to these people, then it might work. But I think from people that I've gotten relationship advice from and listened to, they always talk about like having that support and that approval, because usually the people that you surround yourselves with know you best, and they see kind of the red flags sooner than everyone else in the world, because they know you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
was my last point.
to add on to that point too. Yeah. Okay. So, and to add on to that point as well. So long distance relationships are difficult. Like there's going to be tough situations within that just because of the distance, the timeline, whatever happens. So you really want to have people in your life that are supportive of the relationship, because when those tough times happen, if you have somebody hanging around that you know is just giving you the negative energy, only giving you the negative side, it's just going to make it all the more, you know, difficult. And might cloud your mind or cloud your vision about what you should do, what really is a bad thing, what is not so bad thing. So you really like applies to regular in-person relationships too, but especially even more with long distance, because then you can't even see that person right away to kind of discuss or, you know, interact with them and really find out for yourself. They're far away. There's a distance between you guys. So really kind of protecting the relationship from the fingers of others who might just be hating. Yeah, the fingers. See, that's how I want to describe it, because they be in there just trying to mess stuff up. You gotta watch them. You gotta watch these people. That's my last point. Watch them folk, because not everybody your friend. And if they focus listen. I tell Kei-Lin, listen. This is a side note. This is not even part of the conversation. I tell Kei-Lin all the time. Like if there's like something a little bit wrong, like say you take a picture or you see a small detail that you just don't like in the photo, right? And you just think the whole photo is messed up because there's a little detail wrong. I said, you know, Kei-Lin, nobody is going to see that. No one's going to see that. And if they're looking that hard, they're hating. So don't worry about it. If they're looking that hard to see something minuscule that you might see on yourself, they're haters, right? So you don't need to worry about them anyway. So that's all. That's my soapbox for the end of the video. If you like this type of content,
don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a friend that you think this will encourage them, help them in their long distance relationship, or if they're considering a long distance relationship, this is good stuff to know. But we appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. We will see you next time.
Peace.